There it is, your Roosters going down.
Yeah, well, you got to hold the ball. Manly's defence, that's what won it for them. There was a set after half time. I think it was right on half time. I saw it second half, kick off second half, and they just belted the Chooks. Absolutely belted them. They're the real deal, Manly. As long as you can't underestimate. Well, it's pretty obvious how important Tommy is for them, but I said it last week. When we watched them in Vegas. I couldn't believe what he does on the field, how he just roams around, but in defence as well. Like he's pushing blokes. So
Really?
He's pushing blokes to go to the right or go to the left. Like physically, there's a defender at A or B, and he's pushing him. Like he does everything for him.
Yeah.
And as Maddie said, with Daly Cherry Evans, there's no structure to them. But I tell you what I do like. I like watching him come out of trouble. You know how we see these clubs just go, right, 6 up, 5 up for a kick.
One off the ruck.
Manly are throwing it 2 and 3 passes wide, hitting an edge, and then they'll spread it again. It's great to watch. It's high risk, but they're obviously very confident in their ability. So
Manly still with Jason Saab, Matt Lodge, Toff Sipley, Josh Schuster. Plenty of troops still to return as well.
Yeah, but how many of them are going to make it into this team? I tell you who's been really good the first 2 games.
Nathan Brown,
absolutely.
Why couldn't he get
probably
Why couldn't he pick up a bench spot at the Eels?
I don't know. I think it was. I think
just need a change of scenery.
I think it was a bit of a.
He had the Josh Mansour, Dimitrius,
personality clash, but he was very good. He looks a little bit lighter too.
That was his 150th game, I believe, on the weekend for Nathan Brown as well. So congratulations for him. Let's have a listen to what DCE and Seabold had to say.
I thought it was great. I'm sure Trez will probably reinforce that, but he's done a really good job the first 2 weeks, and I think he'll only get better too. We feel as though he's made a really good start with the connection, the cohesion with Trez and Turbo, but the longer we're together, the better I think we'll be.
Daly, your thoughts on your halves partner today?
He's going really well. Yeah, he had a big pre-season, finding his feet, and the results are showing. I think the other thing that I keep saying as well, he's smiling. He's happy.
Right now, with that squad, can Manly win the comp?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, they can. If they play every game at Brookvale, they'll be hard to beat.
I think that's the first time. I'm not sure if it's just the first time I've noticed it, but the new additions to the stadium, I know they've been there for a while now. I'm not sure if they've added more in the off-season. But that place looks like it was heaving yesterday.
Asbestos land. Yeah, well, it is. They get around them. I tell you what, they're like, Newcastle fans, everyone says they're the most parochial, but the Manly fans turn out too.
Isn't it good to see now? So we've seen Brookvale sold out, the Panther Stadium was sold out. I think Newcastle was sold out round 1. All these local grounds selling out, which then begs the question, can we do additions to these grounds? Can we make them bigger? Not can we move the games all to Allianz, but now that we're getting sellout crowds, which is awesome, let's do some upgrades, Mr. Chris Minns.
Well, the Leichhardt, apparently that's going to be left to the... Minzy's taken the golf, Moore Park golf course, 9 holes. Don't want to start that again. That's ridiculous. Well, the proof will be this weekend if we can get Allianz to 40,000. If we can sell out Allianz.
Should do. Are you going to go?
I'm going.
Yeah, I'm going to go as well.
I'm going to go. Should we team up afterwards?
Yeah, okay.
Get up to Saturday. I was going to play golf on Saturday, but if I'm teaming up with you, there's no chance. I'm getting a golf.
Next week, the Seagulls head to Combank to take on the Eels. This is a very interesting game.
Yeah.
Eels are in form as well. Even though they lost to Penrith, I was very impressed by the Eels.
Yeah, they. Mitch Moses is the key there. I don't think he was right. I think that groin was still bothering him, but it didn't matter because on that left edge there, they had Brown and Lane doing their thing. It was hard for. They lost Bailey Simonson in the first couple of minutes.
Should Jerome have gone to the bin for that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
Bit of inconsistency.
Exactly the same with the kick-out try when Trindle, he pushed the ref to get away. What's the difference between him and Jerome Hughes? So Jerome Hughes is going to miss a week. He wasn't even looking at Chris Butler. And that exactly the same thing happened with Trindle. He grabs the referee and actually sort of pushes him, pulls him away rather than pushing. So The Hughes thing, don't get me started on that.
So the Sea Eagles head to Combeck. The Roosters head across to Allianz for their massive clash against the Rabbitohs. Luke Keary is unlikely at this point. Shift Manu to the halves or Sandon Smith?
I think they'll go Sandon Smith.
Sandon Smith, and then Connor Watson comes in on the bench.
I think that was probably the way that it'll go. They tried to, remember last year when they dropped Sam Walker and they put Manu to 6? It
didn't work that well.
Didn't work. They've got to get him more ball.
Can Billy Smith work his way back into that team?
Definitely.
At the expense of?
I don't know. I'm not getting involved with that.
It's a tough one. On that other game yesterday afternoon, so we had the Dolphins and the Dragons. This was interesting. You said you tipped Dolphins. I tipped Dolphins as well, just on the Wayne Bennett bounce back factor. But a week is a long time in rugby league because the difference between the Dragons' performance in week 1 to week 2 was stark.
Well, Mitchell, it was because
even Brandon, the long jumper, that's a little bit relevant.
That is, it's a good segue. This is what's so hard about rugby league, and this is why it's so hard to be consistent, because their defence in against the Titans in round 1 was very, very good. This weekend, it's a mental thing, because what happens in a week? You don't lose fitness.
No,
you wouldn't have lost confidence. They just sort of switched off on certain parts of the game around the middle. I thought these Dragons. And it was the week before, they were getting 3 in a tackle, slowing the play, the ball down. Once you win the ruck, you pretty much win the game. They were arm grabbing, which is the total opposite of what we saw in round 1.
Can I ask you a question here? And every single NRL fan echoes this sentiment. If your job is to play rugby league on the weekend, once a week on the weekend, but so often in the post-match press conference, you hear the captain say, "Oh, we just missed the jump tonight," or "We weren't there mentally at the start of the game," or they were just more hungry tonight. How hard is it across the span of a 26-week season to be up and about every single weekend, redlining when come game day?
Well, so this is how I used to think about it. You're not going to be up every weekend, every week.
Emotionally or
both.
Yeah.
Something might have gone during the week, or you just feel a bit off. Maybe 2 or 3 of you are off, so the rest of the team can carry you. But when you have more than, when it's like 6 or 7 plays, and you can just tell. I used to be able to tell in warm-up. I used to go, "Oh, no, we're not on here." It was just, and once you get the majority of those players just a little bit off, it's too hard to gain the momentum. You can carry 2 or 3 dudes just sort of a bit off. And then you get the opposite when you're all up and you're all just charging and you just know you're going to win.
Have you ever got to a big game like a semi or an origin or a international where you got that feeling in warm-up on the big stage?
Yeah. 1999, we needed to play the Broncos to go into the grand final. We had a terrific that was 98, 98. And we beat Melbourne away, Newcastle away, and then we're playing Brisbane. And for whatever reason, I got a feeling just going, "Oh, we're off today." Wow. And then Freddie got hit. Under the ribs, broke his rib, and then we were gone.
Yeah.
I think Gordon got under him. But this is so hard in rugby league. If you're just off by a little bit, it's very hard to. And
the Dragons are going to be an effort team, aren't they? That's their shtick this year.
Whether it's a travel or whatever it is, and it's hard to bottle. If you could find out exactly what it is, the secret ingredient, you'd be an absolute millionaire.
All right, this is what Shane Flanagan had to say about the performance.
This is a complete opposite to what we had last week. We had energy and commitment, and today we had none of that. We had half-time. I thought we could, we weren't the better team at half-time, but I thought we hung in there and we could come back, but the second half just went worse again. So we've still got some work to do, and really, really disappointed that we've gone backwards. But as I said, we'll shake it all off and go again.
Shake it off, go again. They go again against the Cowboys. Does he need to make any changes? Well, this is what he said.
At the moment, I probably think that they're the best team that we've at today that we thought we'll put on the paddock. We've got Hame Sele should be back next week. He'll probably come into the team. Our second grade played well. We'll have a look at it, but that wasn't good enough tonight, so we might have to make some changes.
Zac Lomax on the wing has been a bit of a revelation. I rate that.
Yeah, he just didn't get the same opportunities as he did against the Titans. Isn't Molo, Brooksy, thumbs up or thumbs down? He might get a week or two. He got one, okay.
Got one.
Well, they're going to have a force change anyway.
So maybe Luciano Leilua makes his way into that starting side for Tom Eisenhuth. Hame Sele still to come back. They welcome back Blake Laurie this week. Is there anyone else, Brooksy, that we're missing that they have in the squad? That's it, says Brooksy. So they're at more or less full strength.
Yeah, just watch that round one video.
Yeah, just
watch how they held players down, 3 in the tackle. As soon as you win that ruck, you can do whatever you want in defence because you're on the front foot. It's when you just get an arm grab and they get a quick play of the ball, and the momentum in this game now, like in a set of 6, if you don't get the first 2 or 3 sets tackles right, controlling the ruck, you're gone. Teams can make 80 and 90 metres.
All right, other games. Storm, 30. Warriors, 26. What a comeback from the Storm. Well, comeback from the Warriors, and then comeback from the Storm.
Mate.
Great game.
Great game. I love watching, a bit like Manly, I love watching the Warriors in their set pieces when they come down because everyone knows what sort of job they're going to do. Did you see Roger? Awesome. Did you watching it? Back to his best, beat Meaney on the outside.
Should they switch him back to fullback to get a win on the board?
No.
Leave him?
Leave him there. The kid's going good. Tuapiki.
He is good, yeah. He's good. He's a small body bringing the football back, but he's elusive. He's elusive.
He pokes his nose through. They've got Chance coming back round 5. Is that the string? Did he do his string? I know he's got beautiful legs. Remember we interviewed him and his wife I said, what attracted you? Because I like his legs.
Yeah. He cramps a lot. Yeah. You always see his calves cramp up because they're so big.
Low fat.
Yeah, right.
Low percentage body fat in the calves. He's just got beautiful legs. And his wife even said that's why he fell for him.
Beautiful. Hey, Warriors next week head to Christchurch to play the Raiders on Friday night. Awesome game. Storm head up to the Hunter to take on the Knights.
I know.
Knights going to be desperate for a win.
Yeah, Sugar is very bullish on them.
On the Knights?
On the Knights. No Hughes. Sugar seems to think, and I agree with him, I concur, that they wouldn't sort of rush Munster back because they've got the bye the following week.
Okay. Maybe Sugar, reach out on the text line. Give us a couple of early week tips based on current odds.
He's in bed, I reckon, eating a Porto's burger. Or a Schnitzel burger from Schnitz. Are we still sponsored by Schnitz? We're not. Come on, Schnitz. Jump back in. Show us your Schnitz. Just
on the Knights. The Knights 20 went down to the Cowboys 21. Again, the Cowboys waited till the death to seal this one. Golden point field goal.
Yeah, the game should have been over anyway with Val. Val missed a couple.
Missed a couple, didn't he? He had a shocker of a game.
Yeah, dropping the pill a
bit.
About
4 drop balls, I think. Cowboys just look like one of those teams. If they hold the ball, points not an issue for them.
They're a bit like the South mentality. They sort of, how many ever points you're going to score, we're going to try and beat you with
bit erratic at times as well.
Our man Lukey's, though, is going to be out for 6 weeks.
Yeah, that's really disappointing for Luke. He's just had bad luck, hasn't he?
Did his knee?
Yeah.
He had an ACL injury.
And then he did a facial fracture.
That's right.
He had a really bad facial fracture. Now another injury on the weekend, so he's going to miss more time. Really unlucky for Helam Lukey. But they have got a bit of depth in the back row stocks.
Yeah.
I took a hit with Luciano leaving. They definitely hadn't planned on this. But the other big talking point, it keeps coming up, Taumalolo still not having a huge impact on games for $1 million. I know everyone's probably sick to death of hearing about it.
It's not his fault he's getting $1 million at all. I did read that he doesn't train during the week, so he's got no cartilage, so he's on the Terry Lamb training.
Yeah, reduced
on the bike,
reduced duties
on the bike, and then just come and does the captain's run.
You know what I reckon that would affect a lot as well is a lot of that lower body strength work. Like if you're doing squats with no cartilage in your knee, that's got to be pretty excruciating, right? So what's his strength like at this point in his career? Because he was all. I watched the game now of Taumalolo and I go, why was he so hard to tackle before? And now he's pretty stock standard. It's pace, power, strength.
Yeah, leg speed. Just that when you lose a little bit of that, you're in trouble. Because what is it? What is force equals
speed times
mass?
Or power equals speed times strength?
Or I think it's force is speed times mass.
Mass.
I'm pretty sure. M-A-S-S. What is it, Turi?
Was that Gandhi?
Gandhi? What do you mean?
Is that his formula?
What are you talking about?
Force is mass
Yeah.
times acceleration.
Yes, sorry, acceleration. So there you go. I knew I was right.
Is that Newton?
Year 10, Mitch Newton. Second law. Okay.
Whose law? Einstein's? Stuart Law.
Simon Law. Anyway, let's get on this. I've got to read these texts. Josh is into us about, oh, geez, he's pretty nasty. Boys, long jump, you have to land with your feet in front of you. Coates was reaching with his arms. Great try, but about a 3 metre jump with the extension of his body and arms makes up the 5 metres. Come on, Josh, don't be like that. It was a terrific try.
We reviewed the tapes. We're thinking it's about 5, right?
Yeah.
Max 6. We've reviewed the tapes. It was
he
definitely two strides past the 10-metre line.
Yeah, he jumps, let's say 5 metres.
5 metres.
So he jumps 5 metres, and then he gets hit by Dallin with that beautiful curly hair and just pushes him up a little bit. Hence, gravity, which was Newton. What's that one? What's his formula? E equals MC squared.
That sounds right. All right, the other games. Raiders, 32 defeat West Tigers 12. Scoreline probably doesn't reflect the game again. It was a lot bigger gap for most of the game. Raiders looked awesome. 17,000 at GIO Stadium. Not bad.
Yeah,
Young
good.
Strange in the halves.
He's got a little bit of shit in him too, which I like.
Yeah.
He seems
a bit of staunching players.
I do.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. Yeah, look, it's going to Tigers obviously a very, very young team. It'll take a little bit getting used to. But we spoke earlier with Matty when he was in about Galvin. He's a player.
He's a player.
For first game, making your debut, and he was that confident. Just
14 runs, 140 metres from
going
half.
to first receiver. He was awesome. He got clipped a couple of times. I saw Papali'i, he got into him. He jumped straight back up. So
impressive.
this might be the future for him.
Here's a stat for you. The Raiders, this is the first time they've been on top of the NRL ladder since 2005, round 6.
Wow. Goodness me.
So they must be slow starters.
They are. Last year they only won. Remember how their biggest margin was 8 points or something? They were winning by 2 and 4. Well, they've just smashed that, both 13-plus games. So Sticky's got them firing.
Here's what Sticky had to say on the depth at the Raiders.
Canberra Raiders are allowed to have depth. It amazes me what a lot of people think about this club, but we're allowed to have more than 17 good players.
So, Raiders, good depth at the moment. Zac Hosking in the back row. They've still got Elliot Whitehead to come back in. How does he fit back into that? Horsburgh to come back in. Happy days. They've got Trey Mooney sitting in reserve grade.
Yeah, he's going good. Well, everyone was sort of saying they might get the spoon with no Jack White. I mean, it's only round 2. It's only round 2, but they're looking very good. Zac Hosking, this is what I find strange. When he was at the Broncos, so he's at Newcastle, couldn't get a start there. Goes to the Broncos, Kevy gives him a game, Kevy go, and he had a blind, like he had a really good season.
Yep.
Penrith came knocking. He played really good at Penrith, sometimes playing the centres. They couldn't keep him. And he's finally ended up at the Raiders. So he's got a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal. I just hope that he gets rewarded because he's been on sort of a
it's tough, isn't it?
Base contract.
Big changes to lifestyle as well, going from Brisbane to Penrith to Canberra. He's sort of getting knocked down. Shout out to our Canberra listeners. Hey, Panthers 26, Eels 18. Another cracking game between these two. A lot of feeling in these games. The Battle of the West now. It used to be back in the day Bulldogs and Para, but it seems to have switched now to Para and Penrith.
Yeah. Is it as... I don't know. Can any Penrith or Parramatta supporter call in? Is it as hectic as the Bunnies and Chooks? Like, do the fans get into each other? Because I know all my mates are either South fans or Chooks fans, and they give it to each other. Like, some of them won't even speak. They won't speak this week, and then they're good mates.
Yeah.
But they get on Facebook, and it's horrific.
Well, when I was growing up, early 2000s or into 2010, Bulldogs Para was similarly bad blood.
Yeah.
And I'm talking massive fights
like
at the stadium.
crowd.
Yeah, shooting flares, all that. Well, you remember the
Hooligans.
the Bulldogs Army type stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those fans went across to the Wanderers, because you don't see any rat bags really at Bulldogs games anymore. Or maybe they're just waiting for success.
That's exactly right. It's very hard to be up and about when you're getting pumped every week. You know what I mean?
You can't let off a flare when you're 20 points down?
Nah, it doesn't have the same effect.
Fair enough. Another chapter in the Western Sydney rivalry. Panthers 26, Eels 18. Again, couple of questionable calls, but the big talking point, Isaac Tungo, he re-signed during the week. 6 line breaks, 9 tackle busts, 245 metres.
He's a gun, and the other kid
worth
too.
every dollar.
I've got a little bit of mail about Taylan May.
He's off to the Bulldogs.
Well, it is Rumour Tuesday, but I'm hearing Chooks are very interested. I'm not just saying this. I know I said this last time with Roger, just to beef up our digital numbers. No, I'm hearing, and he hasn't re-signed yet at Penrith. Penrith have been desperate for him to re-sign, but guess what? He could be going where the sun rises in the east and the cocks start roostering.
Crowing?
Crowing, that's the one. Crowing.